and welcome to The Resource, the podcast propelling employer brands to recruit smarter and retain better. I'm your host, Priscilla Peters.
And I'm your other host, Scott Dismuke. And Priscilla, we've made it to episode 3. We haven't been canceled yet.
Not yet.
That's a good thing.
That's yet. A good thing. That is a good thing. It's shocking, but a good thing. No, this has been so fun. This has been, listen, that last episode with Bruce Pearl, I mean, I'm kind of still on a high from it. I'm not going to lie. That was fun.
It was fun, and I hope folks have had a chance to listen to it. I encourage you, if you haven't, to go back and download it because, Coach really, aside from just being overall entertaining and worth the listen for that, I think a lot of the content that he had and a lot of the things that he said, given, his experience in the trucking industry and, the things that he was talking about from recruiting in basketball and dealing with, the transfer portal and NIL. He had a lot of really great things that I think really translate just even beyond, basketball and into trucking. So I hope folks will go back and listen to it if you haven't, because it was really a great interview.
Yeah. And I had no idea his history in trucking. That was kind of cool to hear that side of it. So
yeah, absolutely. Few people do. That's why I was kind of glad to have him on and he could touch base on that and kind of give some perspective, from his industry, but also being tied back to trucking, which I thought was great.
Yes. So this episode, we're kind of shifting gears a little bit. I mean, here we are. We're like the end of summer. Did you move your son back into University of Arkansas? Y'all did that?
We did. Yeah, we got him moved in a few weeks ago. I will tell you, it was a lot easier this year than it was last year. The whole drive home last year after dropping him off for his freshman year was a very quiet, somewhat tearful drive. This time, my wife actually drove back home alone, and I stayed over in Arkansas and worked out of our Arkansas office for a week. So totally different feel the second time. It's kind of old hat. So it was a lot easier this time than it was last year, for sure.
Yeah, I can relate. So I don't know if I've told you this, but our son is deployed.
I did not know that.
Yes, so he's in the Air Guard, and he's on his first deployment, and he's 22. And listen, my mama heart is like, but as time goes by, it's getting easier, and he's doing great. Like we'll FaceTime him, and he'll be like, I just got back from the gym. Like he's all buff and everything now. So he's doing great. We're just like over here trying to, be okay until he gets home, but he'll be home soon. So it is.
Listen, those videos, because I know we're going to talk about this, but those videos of soldiers coming home, surprising their family and their kids, like it rips my heart into every single time. It's like, I'll be watching those. I'm like, nope, can't do that today.
Yeah.
Not today.
It is they're very, very touching. Very, very touching.
Yeah. So what'd you do this summer? Did you do anything fun?
You know what? We moved.
I said, did you do anything fun? That is not fun.
It's not. I'm not going to lie. Even when you hire movers, like what in the world? It's like, you don't realize all the crap you have, first of all. But no, we moved. We did go on a quick little beach vacation with some friends of ours. Stella went to camp. My daughter that's still at home. One of our kiddos is still at home. And so it was good. It was fun. What about you?
We did a beach trip. It was the beach is my happy place. The weather wasn't all that fantastic while we were down there. We had a couple of days that were total washouts. But as I told somebody, I would much rather it rain at the beach than rain at the office. I can deal with it a lot better. So, we're still cool enough parents that our soon to be 20-year-old, now 20-year-old actually, is still wanting to go on family vacation with us. So I don't know how many more of those we have left. So we're still cool. We're still cool enough, right? So he went with us. We went with some friends and we had a good time. We went and saw the new Mission Impossible movie, which if you haven't, it's pretty fantastic. I would definitely recommend you go see it. Hey, speaking of movies, did you go see Barbie?
We did. I wore the pink. We did all the things.
Oh, we should have pictures of that.
I don't know about what I thought. It was okay. I got like weird Dumb and Dumber vibes from it. Like at one point, I just felt like, is this supposed to be funny? Because I'm cracking up. But it was also like trying to be serious and all the things. I don't know. It was okay. I would give it like 3.5 stars maybe. Because now I'm a movie critic.
Oh,
So,
well, sure. I think I think we automatically get that credential when we start a podcast. You can automatically become a movie
oh,
critic, a music critic, all of those things, right?
oh yeah, for sure. Listen, our guest today is and we'll introduce her in just a minute, but listen, I'm really excited about this one. She is a big, huge social media influencer in trucking. And are you big on social media, Scott? Like, what's your
Define big, but uh, so I have Facebook. I don't post a ton on Facebook. I'll be honest with you, politics kind of ruined that for me. I get on Twitter. I read Twitter a lot. If you go to my Twitter account, you're going to see a lot of ramblings about the St. Louis Cardinals and me being upset about them. You're going to see a lot of ramblings about me being upset with the Tennessee Titans. Really, that's where I go for my fandom outlet is Twitter. Um, I do I do get stuck in the black hole of TikTok. My wife, it drives her nuts. I'll be laying in bed at night and just be scrolling and watching, and before you know it, 2 hours have gone by and you've just watched video after video. So I don't know if I'm active, but I do participate. Maybe that's the best way to say it.
have you gotten on Threads? Do you know what Threads
No,
is? No.
I know what it is, but I haven't. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough
Yeah.
for me, right?
Yeah.
I waste enough time on social media, so adding another platform would probably not be beneficial to me or my family.
Yeah. I always describe myself as I'm a selfish social media user. So I'm all about like hopping on and posting if I post something for myself, and then I'm just not great at like consuming everybody's content. And I think maybe it's like I live in this world all day, every day, right? Like this is kind of one of the things that I lead for us is our marketing. And I know how important social media is. And so it's almost like I want to kind of get away from it a little bit when I leave home. But I do listen, I love a good TikTok. Don't get me wrong. Like I could crack up at some stuff. Like I think content creators today are so clever and so fun. And I think it's super valuable. And I don't consume it probably as much as some other people do, but I do love it. But I'm one of those like old people that scrolls reels on Instagram and like watches funny reels. Like that's what I do right before I go to bed. I just allow myself about 5 minutes. And honestly, like my friendships are made up of just me sending funny reels and memes to my friends. Like that's really that's our love language, basically. So.
Oh yeah, and I'm the same way. I've never gotten into Instagram. I have an account, but I maybe have posted 3 pictures in 10 years. I don't know. But you're right. The content. My relationship with my wife is at nighttime. I go, hey, look at this, and she's like, can I just read my book? So she's the more intelligent one of the family. She's the more sophisticated one of the family, and I'm sitting there looking at cooking videos on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Well, I will say my husband. I mean, he would probably not agree with this, but I think he spends more time on his phone than I do. I'm just saying. But anyway,
He's not here. He's not here to defend himself, though.
I
So
know
maybe we
it's
need
fine. It's totally
to
fine.
have a guest appearance and let him defend himself on that one.
Yeah, he would love that. Oh my goodness, he would love that. Okay, so our guest today, let's dive in to this interview because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a treat today with the guest that we have on today. I've been so excited about having her on. When Scott and I first started talking about hosting this podcast, I was like, oh, I know who one of my very first guests is going to be. And so, listen, this isn't the first time that we've had the pleasure of tapping into her wealth of knowledge. Joining us today is an individual who boasts a very impressive following of over 1.8 million on TikTok. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 1.8 million. That's with an M. Her insight into the world of trucking and the power of social media is honestly unmatched. She's a driver. She's a driver trainer. She's an influencer. She is amazing. And listen, we're not the only ones that have recognized her expertise. She has graced us. She has graced the screens of some renowned platforms, such as the Kelly Clarkson Show. Listen, girl, I'm obsessed. I love Kelly Clarkson. CNN, Inside Edition, and even she was a guest at our very own Recruitment and Retention Conference this past February. It is with great pleasure that I introduce and extend a warm welcome to the resource, to the one and only Clarissa Rankin.
Yes, honey.
How are you?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. Just busy as always.
Yes, we're so excited to have you on. Listen, Scott, I know I told you this, but Clarissa and I had quite the time in Nashville when she came to the Recruitment and Retention Conference. I mean, I hung out with her and her team. We sat together at dinner one night. All I'm saying is I learned about a new cocktail with pineapple juice and maybe a little bit of tequila, and it changed my life. That's all I'm saying. It was fabulous.
So do we have a name? Is there a name for this drink?
No, I want to say it was just Casamigos and pineapple juice, and we just drink it. It's just so smooth. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just right. Get you where you need to be. Have a good time and go home.
Yes. Listen, it was just right for me. I'll just leave it at that. No, I'm just kidding. No, we had a great time. We had a lot of fun at the dinner, and she brought like a really great presentation to our attendees and stuff. So Scott, welcome, Clarissa.
Clarissa, it's great to meet you. I think we met briefly at the conference, like Priscilla said, but you had a lot of attention and a lot of folks wanting your time, so we didn't get to talk a whole lot. So I really appreciate you joining us today, and we can't wait for our listeners to hear your story. Kind of how you've made your mark as a female truck driver turned social media guru. But I'm also excited for our listeners to hear perspective from a driver. I mean, we've had folks on, from the economy side of things, people outside of the trucking industry, but to actually hear perspective from a driver, which I think is probably the most important thing for folks to hear from, is I think what I'm looking forward to the most. So we really appreciate you joining us today. So the first thing that we do with all of our guests is we have our first five, and these are serious questions that seriously don't matter. So Clarissa, are you ready to tackle the first five?
Yes, I'm ready. I stay ready. I'm a truck driver. Right. You gotta be ready for everything.
All right, so let's hop to it. Okay, first question, Clarissa. In your opinion, what is the best sandwich?
The best sandwich ain't nothing like a double cheeseburger, baby.
Okay.
Especially Five Guys with some grilled onions on it and extra mayo and some cheddar cheese and toast the bread a little bit. Baby! Honey.
I like it.
Don't get me started when it comes down to talk about food, because, baby, I can take a plate.
Okay, did you say mushrooms? Did you say mushrooms too?
Now, sometimes you can put a little bit of mushrooms on it. But I like mine with grilled onion. Gotta be grilled. I don't like no just raw onion.
Yeah, I agree. And do you have a little Casamigo pineapple with that, or?
During the week, I have me a water with
yes.
lemon, but on the weekend, I might have two glasses of Casamigo.
I like it. Hey, we have a new sponsor now, Scott, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so question number 2 is, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Where the Heart Is. Have you ever seen it?
I don't know if I have.
It's about the Walmart baby, the lady who it's based off a true story. It's about a lady who gave birth to her baby in Walmart.
Oh, wow.
Y'all ain't never, what?
I haven't. No, okay. But I'm gonna listen. I'm looking for it tonight. I'm telling you, I'll go because that sounds right up my alley. I love a good true story.
It's a Hallmark movie, and the other one I tell you is Shawshank of Redemption.
Yes, that's my top 5.
Yes.
So
those are my favorite of all times. Like, if it was to come on, I don't care how busy I am, I'm gonna stop and watch it. Yeah.
I'm the same. So I wondered, in the movie, does Walmart do discount childbirth like they do discount prices everywhere else?
No.
I just wondered.
They
No,
get diapers for life or something like that.
They end up gifting her at the hospital with all kind of stuff. Like it's based off of truth. You have to look it up. When y'all get off here, look it up. You can be like, when you see it, you're gonna cry. Even you, Scott, you're gonna cry. You're gonna cry. It's a good movie.
So I'm going to tell on myself here. You said the Hallmark Channel. You know what my wife and I watch on the Hallmark Channel every night?
What?
We watch Golden Girls.
I love.
Oh my goodness!
I love
Every
Golden
night.
Girls. Like, that's what I'm aspiring to be in life, is the Golden Girl.
Yeah, every
Yes.
night.
Yes.
All right, Clarissa. So here's the third question, and I think I might know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask you anyways. What's the most used app on your phone?
I say TikTok.
I kind of figured you got 1.8 million people waiting for you. I would be using TikTok all the time too.
Yep, I think TikTok is my most used. Yeah, that's number one.
Yeah, and listen, Scott, when I would just being around Clarissa, she is all about, like, it's genuine content that she's. That's why I think you have so many millions of followers, because, like, we're having dinner, I don't even know, but she's like videoing us, and I'm like probably telling a dumb story or whatever. And I can't listen, Clarissa, you kind of made me like all the folks at work who are on TikTok a lot, which I am a little bit, but not a lot. But they were like, Priscilla, Clarissa said this about you, and she said that. Like, they were so, like, it was so funny. I was like, I actually had dinner with a celebrity, honestly. Like, that was, I mean, but she was constantly like, you could just produce content in your sleep, I feel like, with your phone. Yeah.
Let me tell you, somebody asked me, this millionaire, I went and met a millionaire. I guess I've met many more, but a couple weeks ago, and she asked me before we even started, she said, how do you do this all day? And I was like, I don't know, I just do it. So when we finally met in person, she said, I see it now. She said, before you know it, you grabbed it, gone, put it down. Grab your phone, put it down. Grab your phone, put it down. And I said, I guess I'm just a storyteller. I want you to be able to look at my content and see it through my eyes. And before you know it, I done made a whole movie and was just.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it, though. You are a storyteller. I mean, that's why people are following you. Even my daughter's like, Mom, Clarissa's love. Like, she'll tell me. It's funny. Okay, we've got a couple more here of these very serious questions that we're asking. The next one is, what is a talent that you have that only those close to you know about?
Oh, a talent. I'm very crafty. So, a talent. I can do so much.
Did you create the wall behind you when you say crafty? Like,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So for our listeners, if you're not watching the video, but for our listeners, if y'all could see her background, y'all need to go check out the video just because it looks like a wedding. Like, it's amazing. Pink roses. Like, I mean, clearly we have the same spirit, because you could see mine's wallpaper. I'm not crafty, but I mean, listen, it's fabulous. So
thank you.
It's almost as nice as my cabinet background. Almost.
And you know what else? I can sing, but a lot of people don't. Unless you catch it, you can hear it. But I don't do it often. But people are like, oh my God, I didn't know you can sing. Mind your business. Just go.
Yeah, just go on, move on. Yeah. Oh yeah, well,
I done got recorded singing a couple times.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to have some of that Casamigos if I'm gonna start singing. Yeah. A lot of it, actually.
I always say I can't. I'm actually tone deaf, but I really can rap.
I know that's
no. I'm not. Listen, Scott. It's true. No, I won't do that. But I'm just saying, like, if you give me a 90s rap, like back in the 90s rap song, chances are I know every word and I will break it down. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay.
I believe it.
You can't. Listen, you can't put something out like that and not do it. At some point, you're going to have to do Baby Got Back or something.
Oh, that's actually, well, this could go places it shouldn't at this point. So we're just going to leave it at that.
All right. We'll get it back. We'll get it back on the track. We'll get it back on the track.
I do know every word for the record. But okay. Scott, you got the last one. What's the last one?
Last question, Clarissa. If you weren't doing what you're doing today, so driving, what would you hope to be doing?
Working for SWAT, FBI.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
That's like the best answer.
Yeah.
That's the best answer. I love that answer.
Yeah.
I mean, like working on like hunting for people, busting in the doors, like the Marshal, U.S. Marshal, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes. I feel like we could do that together, Clarissa. I feel like
I know that's right.
You and I could bust up in some people. You know, we could be like, are you like a documentary person? Like, do you like true crime stuff and all that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. My degree is criminal justice. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do is be like a female, be like one of the only females in the area on SWAT. And I was all for it. And it just, I don't know how to this day how I got in trucking. But I know how, but it's like, that was in my mind. I just wanted to be on SWAT. I wanted to bust down your door and get on the ground. Yeah, I want to do all that.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
So that's why I go in my boy's room like, get up and make up your bed. Make up the bed right now.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's awesome.
That's my little thing.
That is great. Well, we appreciate you participating in our first 5 serious questions that seriously do not matter. I can't even talk. I've had some Casamigos apparently. All right, so we're going to move on into some other questions that we have for you. So, you know, our listeners are really interested in recruiting and retention, specifically in the transportation space. And so we wanted to just kind of pick your brain about some stuff. So I'm sure that you and your team really track the performance of your content. Like, you've got millions of followers. I'm sure you kind of track that. So tell us, what type of content do you think engages truck drivers the most? And then what advice would you have for trucking companies that are trying to connect with potential drivers or current drivers? I mean, what do drivers like to engage with online? What type of content?
The main thing I feel that drivers really like to engage with is real life things that match them as a driver. So like, if you're talking about truck parking, or you talk about the finances that truck drivers can make, or you're talking about home time that drivers can spend time on the road, make their money and come home. And if you're trying to engage them about buying a truck and letting them know how much that truck can benefit them out, their household personally, and the income they can make, that's what truckers really like to dive in about. And that's just from, even with on my social media, right? I watch, and people may not believe this, girl, but listen. Yeah, I got a lot of followers, but I am fully engaged with my audience. My audience is what's getting me paid, getting me shared, and getting me seen. So I take what they ask into consideration. So I look and see, how do they share this one? How do they engage with this one? So then I know kind of like, that's what they want to see. That's what pulls their attention the most. I stick on it and I dive into it and I give them more information about it. Because if I don't give it to them, a lot of companies not giving it to them. So more companies need to dive into what the employee or the driver wants, what we looking for, what we need, not what you want us to do. Mm-hmm. It's what we run the freight. So care about the driver. So that's mainly the main thing that I feel that drivers really want to be considered as just a person, you know? So
yeah. That's really, it's an interesting point, and it kind of leads into this kind of second question. So a lot of our data, and as we've discussed, we're talking to, or PDA is talking to drivers all the time, checking in on them daily, seeing how things are doing, and in a lot of our data, we hear the word respect a lot. That drivers want more respect, and they feel like they need more respect, and I agree with that. So we hear that and that talk a lot. But as a driver and as a driver trainer, what are some ways that companies can demonstrate respect towards drivers other than kind of the obvious of raising pay?
Oh, not even just raising pay, just making sure that we get the time that we need and deserve home. That's a lot of companies look at drivers as just a machine. No, we're not a machine. We're human. So if we need home time and you said you was gonna get us home and you said we was gonna be able to be home by in these amount of hours, that's what we're looking for. We don't need you to call us back on Friday afternoon when you're supposed to be routing us back to the house and say, hey, we got a load going to Utah. No, 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 baby. I don't stay up in Utah. I stay in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we need that loan, like you said, they take me home. Like, care about us as just a person in general. Because when we working Monday through Friday, we're gonna do our job. But care about us as a person when it comes down to spending time with our family. And then
Yeah.
when it comes down to parking those trucks, taking a break away from the road. I feel like a lot of companies don't give the drivers enough resources to help them with our mental space too. Like, respect that when we're on the road, right? Just think about it. Just imagine you sitting behind this steering wheel for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. You're driving, you're driving, you're driving. You're going to get in your own mind here. So when are you going to be able to take a break from that here? And a lot of drivers lose themselves and not even groom themselves or not even take self-care to themselves because they're running like a machine. So a lot of companies need to sit back and realize you have humans. We're not computers. We need our mental time to break. We need places to be able to park the truck and knowing that, hey, this vehicle is going to be in peace while I'm at home. And we need the proper home time that away from the road. And not even counting about pay. We all know that that's a big thing, but just respecting us as drivers alone and giving us that freedom to do things that get us away from the road. Like, for example, mine is social media. I'm very, very, like I was saying earlier, big on social media. And you know what? A lot of companies won't even, they don't even like you to post about the job on social media. They will fire you all from posting on social media. But sometimes that's people therapy. So why can't a driver be able to just educate or have fun or have their therapy moment with their social media and be a driver at the same time? We can't do that. So they put a lot of restrictions on us, and it makes us like you don't respect us as human. Y'all think of us like a computer. I hope that
Yeah.
makes.
Yeah,
No, that
no.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think, one of the things that we see in our data is that drivers really do, like you said, they want to be on social media. They want to be entertained online. So you're a successful social media influencer. A big part of what you do, because I follow you, is you have a lot of fun online. Now, you do. That's why I love you. So, but some employer brands, some of them, like, that's risky. Like, they feel like that's risky. They don't want to really loosen up and have some fun. They feel like, oh no, what is it? I need to always be like super professional and all the and all the things. So what advice do you have for trucking companies who are a little reluctant to have some fun online? What advice do you have for them on that?
I feel like see what they can benefit from having a person that loves social media. See what they can gain from it. Cause I'll give you an example. A lot of companies don't like social media because a video that's negative can go viral in 2.5 seconds. So yes, we do need restrictions on it. And I can tell you right now, that's why I'm an owner operator. If I was to go to a company right now and they say Clarissa Rankin, they'll say, no, stay over there. Because I'm so big. I'm so big. My personality is so big. So when I come on social media, they're going to listen. So I say, see how your company can benefit from a person that just love to be entertained or to be an entertainer on social media. How can that benefit you with this person always grabbing the title of your truck on the side of that truck every day? If a person posts every single day, just where they at. Oh, I'm in California. I'm in Florida. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm here, wherever. And they see that title every single day, and then that person gains a fan base. You're gonna have 20 more people just want to come to that company, all because they get advertised every single day. It's always in front of them. Their best creators at that company. They get seen at they done made videos at the fuel aisle in doggone Montana with that company, or they get to see the mountains in the outskirts of New York with that company. You're gonna want people to try to live in that moment because they see it on social media, and that's the world right now. So if you tell a driver, hey, don't post on the world, like don't post in the world, don't show people what's going on in this world, don't show it on the internet. So what did you giving? How is anybody gonna know about you? A lot of companies don't understand how much money they're missing out on because they're not advertised on social media. They're not being seen on social media. If you go down the street right now and look around, almost out of 100 people, 90% is walking with a phone in their hand on social media, listening to a podcast, riding down the road, listening to the radio, you know what I'm saying? Or flipping, or the person in the passenger seat flipping through social media. It's everywhere. So why try to push it away? I hope to answer that question.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Clarissa, you've more than likely encountered both some positive and negative feedback from your audience. So how do you think recruiters and retention professionals can effectively handle online criticism and turn it into an opportunity in their kind of recruitment and retention strategy?
So I do. I get negative and positive feedback, and I have had multiple videos go viral for the company I pull freight for, and when they go viral, it be good, and sometimes it be bad. So the main thing I say is negative equals a positive. When you see negative people come in, a positive gonna come out of it because that's gonna push you even more out there in the world of social media. So if a negative comment and say, "Oh, you lied about that rate," ain't no way that company paying you that. That comment is gonna put you in the algorithm, and somebody else gonna say, it might be 5 other people say, "Well, dang, that looks like a good rate what they offering over there. That looks like a good company." Or then they're gonna start going through the rest of the social media page. Or it looks like she home very often, and dang, she get paid within 30 minutes of her dropping a load. And so that negative is going to equal to a positive because it's going to bring more attention to the page or bring more attention to the company. So does it really matter if you get negative or positive attention? We're just trying to get attention to this company and get the word out there of what this company has to offer. And people don't understand this either, that you can always block, delete, remove. Block it out. We don't care if it's negative. We block it, delete it out your mind, remove it, keep on going. Because we need that attention for people can draw in on what is she talking about. Let me see if she is telling the truth. Let me see what does the company really has to offer. So I let it all come. It don't bother me one bit. Every now and then I might entertain some of the foolishness. I might, and then you know what I do? I prove it. prove it to them. Hey, this company is really paying this. And I make another video and I post a video of how much it's paying, how much it's low running for, how much time I spent on the road, how much I spent in fuel, how much was my expenses. I prove it to them even more to gain more attention. So by the time you know it, I done made a whole week worth of content for a company and advertised them to the max of capacity, all because I made a video on social media from a negative post, from a negative comment, or from a negative view. Okay, if you don't like it, I give you something else. I give you something else to work with. Oh, you're lying about that. I give you something else. Like, I'll just keep feeding it to you, but we're not going nowhere. But the more I feed it, the more that company name getting out there. It's getting out there. It's getting shared. It's getting viewed. It's getting people talking about it. Did you see that she made this? Ain't no way she made this. They're going to share it to the next person. Did you see she said that? Ain't no way. Or, man, I might have to go over there, share it to the next person. And then by the time you know it, you're viral. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. And we always tell carriers, listen, if someone responds negative, that's an opportunity for you to turn it around. Like, we've seen them respond back and say, especially on like a driver review or something, we've seen them respond back and say, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Here's how we changed that policy.
Yep.
And then they come back and say, oh wow, I didn't know, so it's an opportunity too. So I think that can be kind of cool as well. Okay, so you touched on this a little bit, but I just want to kind of pick a little bit more of your brain regarding this. So one of the strategies that we recommend to carriers, and you mentioned it as well, is like identifying some drivers who could be your brand ambassadors, right? Who could say, because this is what I always tell clients is, listen, if you think they're not already posting about your company, you're wrong. Like, they are. And so it's good. I think it's good to identify those who are happy driving for you, who, and then encourage them to help you with your recruiting and retention online. But there's a lot of trucking companies that are a little bit reluctant to do that, I'll just say. So what advice do you have for them? Like, I guess the question really is what really is the power of the driver's voice when it comes to other drivers? Like, I feel like drivers trust other drivers more than anybody, right? Like,
you absolutely right. Just think about it like this. They always say when you go to the fuel out, don't go in the driver lounge too long, because the first thing they're gonna do is when they see the name, how do you like working over there? Oh, well, I've been here for about 20 years, and I make that. This is what they're gonna do. I've been here for 20 years. I make so and so per mile. I get the vacation time. They're gonna give you a whole spiel of this job. Before you know it, they're gonna tell you the good and they're gonna tell you the bad. They're going to tell you everything about this job. So picture if you let that person do that on social media. If they can tell one person, and they're happy to do it. They've been working for you for 20 years.
Yeah.
If you let one person tell about this job that they done been at for 20 years on social media, how many people you think they're going to reach? That one gonna turn into 100. That 100 gonna turn into 1,000. That 1,000 gonna turn into 10,000. And then next thing you know, you have a viral video. All because if this person been here for 20 years, why wouldn't you want to hear what this man got to say? He ain't left there yet. He done took care of his whole family. Yeah, I was able to buy about a house and 2 boats and, put my kids through college. I want to go over there too. So you got to let people be able to be them personally. Give people that, like I said from the beginning, that personal experience has to be shown from a company. But let people do that in their own personal way. As long as it's not degrading your company, as long as it's not belittling your company, let people be them naturally. I promise you, this world of trucking would be such a better place. Because if you won't let them do it, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Why not pick your ones out the bunch that don't mind doing it and got a personality and got a voice that is always ready to be expressive of what's going on, let that be your brand ambassador. Every company in this world has one.
Yeah.
Like Convergence. Priscilla is where's that? You know, no offense to y'all too, but when we got there, we had a ball. And then when I met the team, it was more Priscilla's. I want to come work for the company. Can I bring y'all freight and deliver y'all freight every day? I want to do that. All because if I seen that on social media, I would want to come work there. I would want to know more about it because I'm seeing it in the place where everything goes down. Everything goes down on social media. So companies need to realize they got a golden ticket, like to the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. You are giving a creator a golden ticket to the gates of heaven when you give them permission to post about your brand on social media. Like when the company I pulled for told me I can post about, like, they hired me to post about them. But anyway, when they told me I could post about them on social media, I left the company I was at for 3 years. The company I was at for 3 years, they had their ups and downs, it was normal, but they didn't let me be me. They did not let me post. They was not comfortable with me being me. But then when this other company said, no, we want you. We want you. Here go your golden ticket to post and just talk about this company as much as you want. Advertise this company as much as you want. Now I've been here for almost 2 years and I love it. I love it. I can get up and go to work every single day and show this name every single day. I can have a good time every single day and not be punished for it. I can be me as a creator. And you know what? People has came to this company all because of me.
Yeah.
Some of them came because they see it every day on my platform. I'm going to show this sucker every day because they are allowing me to be me. I'm going to show them every chance I get.
Yeah.
Like right now, I promise you by the end of this podcast, if people stay to the end, they're going to go to my page just to see what company I'm talking about.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? All because they was able to give me that golden ticket and I'm in my Willy Wonka chocolate factory, rolling around in chocolate, making content every single day, having a great time on social media, talking about trucking, driving, traveling, making videos, and I'm just living my best life with nobody's like punishing me every time I post something.
I love it. No, that's so true. I love it. Listen, we cannot end this interview without me asking one final question. So, sister to sister here, I need to know about the nails because I'm obsessed.
So let me tell you, this lady, this business had it was a young girl. She's 20 something, 25 years old. She opened up this place down here in Charlotte, right? And it was almost a year ago. It was a video came up online on social media. It was a bashing video because she fired a couple stylists in the shop. And I was like, I'm gonna get over there because that is bull crap. It was a negative video. I said, no, ain't no way. That's crap. That's crap. That company, they just let you go when you're mad and you made a video about it, right? So I said, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go there to support. And I followed him on social media. And when I followed him, she said, oh my God, I already follow you. Like, you're following my page? And she was like, I said, yeah. So she said, come in and I want my stylist to do your nails. And she said, what do you want? I said, anything you could think of. My car is Hello Kitty. I have been in love with Hello Kitty for years.
Oh my goodness.
When I came in, she said, can I do anything? I said, yes. And she did all this to my nails. And she just put Hello Kitty, the Barbie movie out and all that. And you know what? Her video went viral because I made a video. And nothing but positive and exciting feedback about this business. And that was just one platform. It went viral as soon as I dropped it. Then it went viral on another platform. So I did what I wanted to do, change the narrative of that negative video, all by letting me post about your business. And I got my nails on, my birthday coming up, and it's a lot. I'm getting used to it, but I was able to do what my creative mind was thinking. I got it done, all by the grace of my platform and social media. And now she's like, "Oh my God, you are like a golden ticket!" Like,
I love it.
Said, no. I said, no, I
Oh.
told you if I wanted to, when I seen that video, I didn't approve of it. I just knew that you just fired them. And she said, I just let them go because they was bringing down the environment. I let them go. And I said, well, I'm gonna make a video of it because I knew that's what she did. And baby, mine did better than hers within a day. So that's why I got my nails done. And it's a young girl. She was 18. So you can tell they look youngish, don't they?
Yes. Listen, for those who are just listening to the podcast, go check out the video because y'all got to see these nails. They're amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, Clarissa, this has been unbelievable. Thank you so much. I know that our listeners have gotten so much insight from you. And it's just great not only to hear from a driver, but to also just hear from you on really your insight into how carriers can use social media and all of the platforms to help them recruit smarter and retain better. So we're super thankful for you hanging out with us today. Thank you so much. And listen, we're going to tell everybody how to follow you at the end of the episode. So we'll be sure that everyone go and check out Clarissa Rankin online. She is everything you think she is and more, let me tell you. So thanks, Clarissa. It's been so fun. We appreciate it.
This was great. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. This was fun. And I thank y'all for doing this. People need to hear more about us as drivers.
Hey, you can come on anytime. Your personality, your passion is infectious, and it's certainly entertaining as well. So anytime you want to come on, you reach out to us, and we'll be happy to oblige.
Thank you.
All right, Clarissa. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Well, Priscilla, that was a fantastic interview with Clarissa. I kind of right there at the end said her personality and her passion are very infectious, and so that was a great interview, and really enjoyed having her on and getting the perspective of a driver.
I mean, how great is she? Like, I just want to hang out with her all day, every day. I see why she's so successful online. I mean, she is, and she's the real deal, Scott. Like, when you meet her in person, it is just like she is online. I mean, I was just so impressed with her when we met her in February, and I'm so glad we got her on the show. That was fun. I loved that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of what she had to say, I hope companies and folks in, kind of position of power will listen to that, because I think that she certainly has the ability to influence a lot of folks. And I think if companies look to how to use social media and really even use their drivers, which I really hadn't thought of, but use their own drivers in that situation, I think there's a lot, limitless possibilities there.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, obviously, it's that time of the show where we talk about the resource, and we want to make sure to provide you with resources, information, data that has recently caught our eye that will help you recruit smarter and retain better. So, Priscilla, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so we've been kind of in the middle of lots of data. So it's kind of that time of year for us. So we had our driver survey that came out, the beginning of June. Then we recently released our Q2 data download, the end of July. So we've had a lot of data that we've been kind of looking at. And I will tell you, one that's kind of caught my eye is this. So whenever we asked drivers on the survey that we did, and the survey was conducted in May, we released it, I think, the first week of June. But when we asked them, when you submit a short form or a full app, like, how quickly do you want to hear back from that carrier? And I thought the data that came back out of that was interesting. Like, we know they want to hear back, but like 50% of them said, I want to hear back in 24 hours or less. 25% of them said, I want to hear back in less than 2 hours. Like, I need to hear back from you. So then we did a little more digging and went and looked in the data and said, okay, does whoever's first really, like, that's the early bird get the worm, if you will. And what the data does show is that if you connect, the first one to have an actual connection with the driver has a much higher chance of closing them as a hire when that lead comes in. So, I mean, the question really for carriers is, okay, that's great. What do I do with that data? And at the end of the day, making sure, listen, there's technology that you can kind of put to work for you to where your recruiters don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I have to call that guy right now. His lead just came in. We have, like, for example, we have Lead Assist Virtual Recruiter that can connect you with the driver instantly. He's qualified just based on some simple pre-qualifying questions. And so how do you get connected with him instantly? And that has really been a game changer over the past several weeks with a lot of our customers. And so I would just encourage carriers to think about, what is my strategy for how I get to the drivers the fastest? Like, how do I win that race, if you will? Knowing that, because the other piece of that data is that drivers tell us, I'm normally applying for more than one job at a time. So if he's sending you a short form or a full app, chances are he's sending someone else that too. So how do you win that game of connecting with them first so that you can get that hire? That's really something to think about. And when you put some technology behind that, it can be super powerful.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because you and I we do prep for this show, but we don't ever discuss our data points, right? So I kind of went in a similar direction as it relates to communication. So we've talked a lot on the first few episodes about the economy. We've talked a lot about the freight recession. We've talked about how that affects pay. So one of the things that really stood out to me in our second quarter data report. So if you haven't seen our second quarter data report, I encourage you to download it because there's some really interesting information in there. But one of the things that really stuck with me is the third top issue for us is normally, from a retention data standpoint, is usually operational issues. And a lot of that's obviously going to have to do with the relationship they have with their fleet managers and things of that nature. So pretty consistently, the top issue for operations is communication. And so of those drivers that mentioned operational issues in Q2, 52%, over 52%, said communication was their biggest issue. And then if you look at that, break out the communication, 57% of those drivers said it was either a slow response or a no response from their driver manager. And what I would tell you, and kind of tying some of the things in that we've talked about on previous episodes, is right now during a freight recession, communication with your drivers is of utmost importance because it allows you, and particularly proactive communication, it allows you to get in front of issues that your drivers are having. It allows you to talk through the issues with them, particularly during a freight recession where you can't create freight. The drivers know it's an issue. So walking them through that, making them part of the planning process. And it kind of goes back to what we discussed with Clarissa, is that a lot of communication from a driver's standpoint is all about respect. And so when we measure that data on no response and slow response, so no response is a driver that has tried to communicate with the driver manager and hasn't heard anything for 24 hours. A slow response is going to kind of be in that 3 to 4 hour range. Anytime you allow a driver's communication to go unanswered or delay answering them, the longer they have to sit there and fret and stew over whatever issue it is that they're having, A, and B, to look at that other offer that, as we know from our previous driver survey, at least half of those drivers that we surveyed said they're getting contacted by another employer brand at least once a week. They have to sit and look at what that other offer is. So yes, money matters. Yes, equipment matters, but so does communication and communicating with your drivers, because it keeps them informed. It helps them feel a part of the team. And when you think about it, you're dealing with a group of folks who are isolated. All of us that work in an office, we have camaraderie with the people that we sit with, we have lunch with, we can go and do fun stuff with, we can do stuff like this. We're talking about a population of your employees that are isolated. They're sitting in a truck most of the day, if not all of the day. They're sleeping in that truck. So that one-on-one communication, they want it. They starve for it. It's one of the reasons why we do what we do, and calling drivers every day to check in on them and see how they're doing. That communication is utmost important. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share this month, because I think it's vital to retaining your employees.
Yes, no, I agree. And that's good stuff. And I think, don't you guys, and I could be wrong, so hopefully I'm not, can't you offer data for your customers that like you can track how well retention is for specific fleet managers or specific recruiters? Do y'all offer that?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely,
that's what I thought.
we do. Yeah, so as long as we have that information, when a company sends us an employee, when they send us a driver, we can pretty much track data based on anything, whether it's a terminal, a fleet manager, or recruiter. It allows companies to really drill down in their data and not just look at it holistically, but you can look at it by terminal, you can look at it by fleet manager.
Yeah, and I think that would be helpful, like trying to identify some of those communication issues and things like that. So that's good stuff. Well, listen, what an episode we have had. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for listening. I want to give a shout out to Clarissa Rankin. You guys be sure and go follow her on TikTok, Instagram, all the places. Her content is so fun. It's great if you're in trucking. And listen, there's always something new happening. She does this great thing with some of the drivers that she trains. It's so much fun. So y'all go check out Clarissa Rankin online. And thanks again for listening to The Resource. If you had fun, be sure and give us a high five by leaving a rating or a review on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to us on whatever platform you listen on. And you can listen. You don't want to miss an episode of these shenanigans. Who knows, Scott? I might rap one of these days, like we talked about.
You're gonna rap after saying that. You're absolutely gonna rap.
Oh no!
So that may be everybody. That may be our Christmas present to everybody in December, or something like that. I don't know. Or hey, it could be Thanksgiving. That's definitely something to give thanks for, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Fantastic.
That's scary.
Well, folks, if you all have any questions or feedback to share, you can hit us up on social media or via email. And we'll be back on our next episode with more fun, more data, more information to help you in your recruiting and retention game. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.